Warning. Proceeding without caution will bring you into spoiler territory for the media displayed on screen. Timestamps are gifted in the description and comment section. Viewer discretion is advised.
Ninja Batman vs. Yakuza League is the sequel to 2018's Ninja Batman, directed by Junpei Mizusaki and written by Kazuki Nakashima, both being the writer and director of the original film. It also has a second director by the name of Shinji Takagi, which is apparently also the name of the guy who played Gojira in Godzilla vs. Megalon. Are these the same people? I don't know. Searching the name gives me the Godzilla actor, but also lists Ninja Batman vs. Yakuza League and their movies on Google, but they have two separate IMDb pages. So maybe it's just a really odd coincidence, or these are the same person, and I can add yet another reason as to why Godzilla and Batman are the same character. Regardless of all that, the moment I heard about a sequel to Ninja Batman, I was on board. I loved the first movie for how batshit insane it was, from the main concept of Batman, his family, and his rogues gallery being in feudal Japan, to Batman and Joker having a traditional Japanese sword fight, and of course, the third act being a bunch of houses combining into giant mecha robots, and then a swarm of bats covers a giant monkey, turning it into a giant 1940s Batman. So a sequel to this insanity of a film, written and directed by the same people, and now starring the Justice League, but as the Yakuza League, implying that they're probably going to be the villains of the movie, this only sounded like greatness. All I wanted from this movie was it to just be as insane as the first one was. And my god, it can. The movie features Japan being gone. There is no Japan. What the f*** is a Japan? Nah, turns out Japan isn't missing. It's just trapped in an interdimensional time warping thing of a concept that's causing it to be floating right above Gotham City, with the only people able to see it being the Bat family because of their trip to Japan in the first movie, which happens literally the day prior in the timeline of these events. We're starting off great. On top of that, the Justice League are also gone. They're in Japan as members of the Hagane family, with Wonder Woman being the exception. She's just off minding her business and tending to her women's therapy island that happens to also have Harley Quinn on it. Apparently she met Wonder Woman, who she describes as a badass warrior babe, and then teamed up with her. If I had a nickel for every time I saw a Justice League related thing where the Justice League were evil except for Wonder Woman, and Harley was obsessed with Wonder Woman, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice, right? The members of the Yakuza League we get is Superman, because, of course, Jessica Cruz's Green Lantern, which I think it's actually really nice to see her becoming more frequent in media, though I'd love to see John Jones again. We get Aquaman, and then lastly, Barry Allen's The Flash. Why does it always have to be Barry? James Gunn, I beg of you, please let the DCU Flash be Wally West. They also all get fun Japanese-esque names. Superman is Kuraku, the Man of Steel. Wonder Woman is Eagle Goddess Diana. The Flash is Fleet of Foot Barry. Aquaman is Asa, the Aqua Dragon. And Green Lantern is Zashika, the Emerald Ray. Even Harley gets the name Heron the Wild Jester. It's amazing. I love all of it. Joker also gets a brief appearance, pretty much there to abandon Harley to fight against Superman, and then save Batman and bring him back to Gotham so the Bat family can figure out how to defeat the Yakuza League. With Joker saying that he's only doing it because he wants to be the one to kill Batman, and doesn't like the idea of Superman having all the fun. This is all on brand for the Joker, 10 out of 10. We find out right before that, though, that the Hagane family is ran by one Ra's al Ghul, who then kidnaps Damian to explain to him what the fuck is going on, that he pretty much created this world of the Yakuza League and plans to somehow use it to destroy Gotham. I like how Damian immediately denies Ra's request to be a part of this. I thought maybe they would have gone the route of make Damian return to his evil roots again, but nah, he's spent enough time with Batman that he's not going to become a villain. I think that's kind of cool. So yeah, pretty much Batman, Jason, Dick, and Tim have to put a stop to the Yakuza League, foil Ra's plan, save Damian, of course, and turn Japan back to normal. A standard story that I think is handled pretty well, with Dick, Tim, and Jason temporarily putting a stop to the Flash when he's in Gotham, while Batman and Damian are in Japan fighting against Aquaman and Green Lantern as first encounters. When the Bat family get all prepared and head back to Japan to finally put a stop to them, they use the age-old method of Batman knows every member of the League's weaknesses and plans to use it against them, but with the slight twist of these versions of these characters don't actually know their weaknesses, which I thought was kind of neat. Wonder Woman fights against Aquaman for a bit before Batman comes in to save her and deal with him himself by dragging him to the bottom of the ocean and locking him in a subsonic bubble. He escapes for a brief moment before Wonder Woman comes back to help. Nightwing handles Green Lantern by himself, making use of a yellow ring technology and a gamer suit to distract her. Tim and Jason go against the Flash, making him run all around town, and I guess at one point locking him in a holographic room on a treadmill or something, making him tired and thirsty, and when he goes to get a drink from a vending machine, the vending machine is just a hologram, allowing Red Hook to knock him out. Which then leads us into the final fight of the Yakuza League members, and the most fitting, a Batman versus Superman fight, where Batman gets inside of a mech suit, not made of houses this time unfortunately, and gets Superman to destroy the suit, allowing it to become a Fallout 4 laser wire room made of red sunbeams. While Superman's weakened, Batman gives off a monologue about Superman's weakness, science, and who the actual character Superman is. Superman manages to break apart some of the red sunbeams, giving him back his abilities, but only for a brief period of time because Batman obviously has a pair of kryptonite knuckles, given to him by his world Superman, and uses it to beat the ever-living shit out of Superman before delivering this cold-as-hell line.
見かけこそは似ているが、お前にその男の誇りはかけらもない。今の私に恐怖するお前はただのまがいものだ。
With all the members of the Yakuza League defeated, it's time for the Bat family to go against Ra's al Ghul and destroy his little machine. Which, of course, with his original plan having failed, he goes to plan B, which is just straight up drop the entirety of Japan onto Gotham. And then he makes the machine disappear into a state of several interdimensional timelines. God, this is peak. With the power of interdimensional rules and friendship, the Bat family is able to circle around the machine and somehow will the thing back into existence, which causes all the members of the Yakuza League to get flashbacks of various different versions of them across the multiverse, and that's not just in TV and movies, but also in the comics. With Superman specifically getting a look at the good version of him and realizing his ways of evil are wrong and not the character. With the evil versions of the League finding their good versions, they team up to help stop the building falling onto Gotham. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. At one point, Ra's switches over to Plan C, which is instead of letting all of Japan fall into Gotham, he's just going to have the main building with the machine in it fall into the city, which will still be enough of an impact to destroy it, and that's good enough for him. The League helped keep the building afloat, while the Bat family tried to will the machine back into existence enough for Harley to come save the day and put the thing in the thing that resets everything. I don't know the specifics. After that, everything goes back to normal. Damian gets back his stupid haircut from the first movie, and the Justice League are all good guys again, calling up Batman and asking him where the hell he's been, having no idea what just happened because to them, it's just the day after the first movie. I think the story of the movie is pretty good. It's a nice little follow-up to the first movie, draws a lot of influence from several different comics and storylines, uses elements of multiverse stories without becoming yet another multiverse movie, and overall is a lot of fun. I found each individual fight between the Bat family and the Yakuza League to be entertaining in their own ways. Nightwing vs. Green Lantern is cool with the RGB gamer suit. The monologue Batman gives to Superman is some well-written writing. I enjoy the Aquaman vs. Wonder Woman narrative that reminded me of Flashpoint. I even liked how Ra's gets to be the main villain of the movie. He's only gotten to be able to do that twice now. I also like the handling of the evil characters, especially evil Superman, which is a concept I have become sick of, especially after finding the joy of Superman and a standing for hope. But this movie tackles it pretty well with, one, him being kind of a different universe version and not the main standing for the character. Two, he seems to be somewhat manipulated by Ra's to be evil, which makes sense given how Ra's created this version. Three, Batman and Wonder Woman tried to feed the true nature of the character to him, which he refuses to believe in until he actually gets a look at that version. And four, his reasoning for being evil actually kind of makes sense. Instead of seeing hope as a good thing for people and wanting to give that to them, he uses evil to control people. He sees basic human nature to be power and control, and using his evil tendencies puts them in place and suppresses them, which he views as a way of helping humanity. It's a bad way of helping them, don't get me wrong, but his reasoning somewhat makes sense. Is this what I want every version of Superman to be? Fuck no. I want him to be nice and caring and the symbol of hope, but an evil version of Superman trying to rule Japan? Yeah, this is pretty cool, and a nice little flip on the character and his morals. So the story is somewhat generic, I guess, with its hodgepodge of other stories, but still overall fun and a little unique in some ways. The voice acting is great, with the original Japanese cast returning their roles, and the voices for the new characters all doing an amazing performance. I know this is going to go against what I said in the Ruby X Justice League Part 2 video, but I really like Takaya Kamikawa's performance as Superman with his very deep voice. That combined with the look of the character, it really does give off Yakuza vibes and works incredibly well. Koichi Yamadera is a great Batman as well. And speaking of character designs, they're all amazing here. The designs of the Bat Family seem to change depending on if they're in Gotham or if they're in Japan. The Gotham designs are pretty standard, while still looking good. It's once you get to the Japan designs is where I fall in love. Superman looks dope as fuck with his robes and little glasses along with that necklace. Harley Quinn's design has been slightly altered, with her hair somewhat staying the same, but instead of sporting the old-fashioned red and black suit, it's more of a looks to me like a schoolgirl type uniform. RGB gamer suit Nightwing looks pretty cool as well, and of course I'm gonna be very fond of masks. They just look cool. They also give a masked version of the Batsuit that I think looks dope too. The rest of the Yakuza League's designs are also cool, even if I don't have much to say. But my absolute favorite is easily Red Hood's. Not only is it leagues better than the stupid, but kind of funny because of it, design that was given to him in the original movie, but it's so fucking cool, dude. The red eye band mask and white eyes with the black face mask, his hood being connected to his vest, the color palette, everything about this design just unlocks something inside of me that makes me so goddamn giddy just looking at it. I love this so much. The animation is pretty good as well, with a lot of the action sequences looking very good and entertaining. I also love some of the sound design, most notably the sound of Superman's lasers. When it comes to the insanity of things, on the surface, it may not seem like it holds up to the original with the lack of Big Monkey, but there are moments in this that are truly as insane or even more. Like the giant minigun-esque cannon that rapidly fires Yakuza members into Gotham. Or my two favorite moments in the movie. When the Bat Family all suit up and are ready to take on the Yakuza League, the film just suddenly changes into this 90s anime opening montage of the characters that gives off Power Rangers / Transformers vibes, which was already making my brain crack. One of these cars straight up looks like if the Unit 01 Evangelion was a Transformer. One of the lyrics in this song is "Fight on, Bat Phoenix, use the power of friendship!" Well, then it gets even better. Because when the anime opening is over, it zooms out from a screen with Alfred asking the group how they felt about his presentation, which is already funny on its own. But even better, there's YouTube-style end cards on the screen, which tells me that Alfred canonically has a YouTube channel in this universe. This has already made this movie peak and better than the original. God, I'm actually crying reading this. It was at this point that the movie fulfilled what I wanted from it. Just absolute wild shit that makes no sense, doesn't do any purpose to the story, but it's just so goddamn funny. And then it does it a second time a bit later with this weird-ass sequence of the movie turning into 4x3, going into yet another 90s style of animation, and Wonder Woman singing a love song. Already I'm wondering, is this a dream sequence? But no, it's not. Because this gets played on the TV that Damien's being forced to watch, which implies there's cameras recording this for some reason. And then, Harley Quinn wakes up in the next room to this singing, takes a peep out of her door and sees it being recorded with this happening in 16:9 and in the regular movie format. So we're now seeing the outside perspective of this random Wonder Woman singing performance being recorded. Wonder Woman catches Harley waiting, barges into the room, and then lets Harley sing just for the camera to cut away the moment she starts, and then the movie just continues without acknowledging or explaining any of this, and I fucking love it. Does it serve any purpose to the story? Nope, not at all. It puts a sudden stop to the story and derails it just to have this weird-ass moment I love every damn second. This and the anime intro had me dying, and that's all I wanted from this film. I got a pretty good, fun, and entertaining story along with weird-ass shit that's never explained. That's just there to make me laugh and question, what the hell am I watching? I see this as nothing but a win. Soundtrack also slaps as well. I pretty much only have one complaint with the movie, and it doesn't really have anything to do with the movie itself. If you haven't noticed, I've only been talking about and playing the Japanese version of the film, because that's what I watched. This may sound odd to anybody who's seen my review of the first movie, because I watched that one dubbed and had an entire segment about it. Well, I was originally gonna watch this dubbed, assuming that the original dub cast was gonna be returning as well, but about 3 minutes in, I was nothing but confused.
Just like your hair, something is wrong.
Batman did not sound like Roger Craig Smith at all, and the acting felt so stilted and off, with the actual dialogue feeling like a Google translation of the script, that I had to pause the movie and do a bit of research because I genuinely started wondering if they had made this dub with AI. Turns out, they didn't. The script seems to match up a bit with the subtitles, and the actors seem to have been outsourced to Sentai Filmworks. Nothing against the actors themselves, they're just doing a job, and it looks like some of them enjoyed being able to do it, but it is a shame that Warner Brothers didn't go for the original cast. And if I'm understanding things correctly, it also seems like the company went with the cheap route that allows them to use non-union, which I guess isn't that surprising coming from the multi-billion dollars in debt corporation, but it's just an unfortunate situation. So yeah, like I said, not an issue towards the movie itself, but still a complaint I have that the dub just kind of ends up not sounding that good. And it sucks that the original English cast didn't get to return. But, oh well. I guess the positive to that is that it made me listen to the original Japanese actors, and I got to find out that Koichi Yamadera does a damn good Batman. That's pretty much all I gotta say about the movie. It's as fun and enjoyable as the original, maybe even more, and provides that insanity that I loved, just in a different way that might also end up being more enjoyable for me. If you like the original, I would highly recommend this. And in general, if you like Batman, anime, and weird shit, I would also recommend both of these movies. They are great, and I gladly welcome a third film if they decide to make one.
And of course, everyone has their own opinion, but my opinion is the best opinion. I'm sure you figured that out already.
Subscribe and please